Open sports, Mike. Well, a little short-handed tonight. Might have Joe. Are we on the penalty kill?
Are we? Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but that's all right. We got the mic to ourselves tonight, I guess.
Yeah. Joe Dalio, see him with Jamie, 8 o'clock Tuesday night. What is it? Buffalo Sports Conversation?
That's going to be the football show,
Oh, New
which
York
we're going to
Sports
start
Conversation, excuse me.
end of the month, and yeah, the subway conversation chat, which we actually finished up last week. We're going to take a few week break, and then again, end of this month, start with the Buffalo Sports Conversation Chat, the Bills show here. So we're looking forward to that.
And then I'm all over the place. Driving the tops, Monkey Spectrum. I'm in too many best ball drafts to count, going for $3 million. And you know what? You know what? August. I mean, MLB Trade Deadline, training camp. Got the pads on, so I mean, I think we're all excited. Fall's just around the corner.
We got that, and for some of us, we got the European soccer season just around the corner as well.
Oh, even better. Better. I'm like, at this point, who else is going to get traded?
Yeah, I don't know if there's. You said who else is going to get traded?
No, I mean, well, not in all baseball or football, but in terms of European football, it'd be a transfer deal.
Okay, the transfers, yeah.
So, obviously, MLB Trade Deadline was yesterday. We all saw the big moves. Too many moves to count, but Tarik Skubal to the Dodgers. In fact, Tarik Skubal was making his Dodger debut in Wrigleyville tonight. Right? And unfortunately, Joe, we saw a few of you Mets go. But ultimately, I don't think anybody's surprised that Tarik Skubal is a Dodger. Is it bad in some ways that Skubal's a Dodger, or the Dodgers just baseball is, I guess you would say, best run franchise now?
Well, a lot of people are upset about this, and me too. It's like the balance of power just is crazy, especially with the Dodgers end of it. Now, I don't blame the Dodgers. I really don't. They're just taking advantage of a broken system, and they know how to do it better than anybody else. And I think that's what they did here. For the grand scheme of things, we all know about this looming lockout, and it might be pretty lengthy. I think for those that want the competitive balance, and for those who want like the salary caps and salary floors, this could be the best thing that could have happened for that, because this could have been the final nail in that coffin as far as, okay, now we felt like we had to do something about this. Now we really have to do something about this. So again, I don't blame the Dodgers. They're just doing things, again, taking advantage of things, but this may actually help the game in the long run. I don't know if you feel the same way about that.
I mean, Dodgers figure out a way of drafting development, going back to the days of Mike Piazza, Fernando Valenzuela, Steve Sachs. The Dodgers always producing young talent. I mean, and Andrew Freeman's going, and nothing's changed. But Ellie's got money put in machine. I don't know what Joey Ohtani's doing in terms of money putting, but the Dodgers not only spend money, but they get the right guys. And in a stall-driven city where the Rams have Myles Garrett, Matt Stafford, Puka, the Chargers have Harbaugh and Herbert, the Lakers have Luka, USC's got Lincoln Riley. The Dodgers are the #1 franchise in baseball. Sorry, Yankees, but the Dodgers past year with winning 2 World Series, and unless something crazy happens, the Dodgers are the overwhelming favorites to win 3 in a row.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I mean, they were my pick in the beginning of the season. Obviously, those odds have even increased now. So, again, maybe somebody beats them and catches them at the right time. But certainly doesn't look that way.
Were you ultimately surprised that the Tigers seemingly, for what I'm here, only talk with the Dodgers? Because you would because if I have the biggest trade commodity, wouldn't you, as Scott Harris, want to have more teams involved?
Yeah, that does surprise me that that's all they talk to. I mean, maybe the Dodgers had players that they were targeting. I don't know enough about that, but yeah, it definitely does surprise me that they weren't talking to more people there.
But with Skubal, I mean, I think yeah, I mean, and why didn't other teams get involved? Maybe the Cubs, but I don't think the Cubs would have gone all in for 2 months. I know the Braves, but seemingly the Braves. The one team that I keep going back to is Milwaukee. And I think Milwaukee Brew fans are probably sick and tired of seeing the Dodgers do everything. We saw what happened when the Dodgers beat the Brewers Game 7 of, I think was the 2018 National League Championship Series. We saw what happened in last year's NLCS where that was a sweep of sweeps. Were you ultimately surprised that the Brewers, A, didn't get Skubal, couldn't get Skubal, or more importantly, wouldn't trade prospects to get Skubal?
Great question. I am a little surprised about that because I thought that was the ultimate place for him to go. Now, two reasons I'm surprised that the Brewers did not pursue him as much as they could. I understand that they didn't want to give up prospects, and I get that. But they have a billion prospects in their system. I think they could have easily parted with them. And again, the Brewers have come so close recently, and now it seems like the Dodgers are the only stumbling block, you know, ahead of them. A couple of years ago, of course, some guy named Alonso was a stumbling block. But I am surprised with all the close calls and with all the good seasons. And again, how many chances does a team like this get? This would be it. I think this is the team that could ultimately take that next step. And I was very, very surprised that they didn't go all in to make that happen. And even if they go all in, trade away a few prospects and come up short, they still have so many other prospects and other opportunities there. But why not? If not now, then when?
Sounds a little like Theo Epstein when the Cubs added Aroldis Chapman in 2016. We all know what happened.
Right. And again, that was the window, and they took advantage of that. But I think it's even a little bit different between the Cubs and the Brewers. The Cubs have a little bit more resources and could have maybe afforded to hold off there. The Brewers don't have that. When they get opportunities, they got to take them because you don't know when. Now, again, we say that every year with the Brewers. How many times do we say? In fact, I said it probably the last 2 or 3 seasons. Oh, yeah, I love to see the Brewers story, but this is the season where they take a few steps back and they're not going to make it. And of course, they make us look foolish because they seem to get better every year instead of worse.
Yeah, particularly with Jacob Misiorowski there. Skubal and Jacob Misiorowski would have been a nightmare for every team in October.
And I read that somewhere that they were saying, like, imagine a 5-game series. You're facing these guys 3 times, let's say. You play a 7-game series, you get them for 4 out of the 7 games. So it would have been an amazing situation.
Like facing Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling back in the day.
Right. And these guys are just getting started. So, well, not so much Skubal. I mean, he's been around for a while, but Misiorowski, and we were talking backstage. I said, Misiorowski, as good of a story as he is, I think he's a walking time bomb. Not to look at the negative here, but when you throw that hard that many times, I don't know how long you could sustain that. So this would have been the time to take advantage of the 2 of them in the rotation. And I think the Brewers may have wasted an opportunity, and who knows? There's some other things we don't know. Maybe the Tigers had no interest in dealing with the Brewers. So
Or
maybe,
maybe the Brewers didn't want to trade certain guys because seemingly the Brewers didn't want to trade Logan Henderson.
yeah, Henderson. There was another guy too that I forget who it was that they were saying no, the guy's untouchable. I don't remember the name, but I know the Brewers were being a little stubborn there.
Uh, I mean, but I don't think the Brewers would have traded like Made, who's
That's the
really
guy.
who's like the number 2 prospect in all of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1, number 2 prospect in all of baseball. Jesus Made, 19 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in a way, I don't blame the Brewers. I mean, you don't. Now, what's Skubal's contract situation?
He'll be a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah. So I don't think you could risk that for a rental that you may not be able to sign, and then you give up a top prospect. So I can understand that. I thought there was maybe some other guys that were a little more expendable, though.
Yeah, I mean, maybe interesting that Soriano was really the only starter with control left move yesterday
Mm-hmm.
or this week.
Right.
Okay, enough of the Dodgers. You know, the Dodgers are going to be in the penthouse. The Mets are going to be in the outhouse, and that's if the outhouse isn't being evicted this year. I mean, we know it's not a great year for the Mets. I mean, but New York did what bad teams do, and they sold. Tell us about some of the pieces you gave away because Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor now with the Cubs. Brooks Raley and I'm forgetting some. Brooks Raley is with the Phillies.
Correct. Brazoban.
AJ Minter's with the Twins. Brazoban is
White
with
Sox.
the White Sox. Luke Weaver's with the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually surprised the Pirates got him because he's got an interview control. But tell us about the pieces the Mets gave up.
Well, I mean, I can understand that some of these guys were going to be free agents at the end of the year. I think both Brazoban and Raley, first of all. Who else? Holmes, I believe, was going to be a free agent too. So they were going to lose a lot of these guys potentially anyway. My only disappointment is not so much that they traded them, but I'm a little disappointed on what they got back for them. I thought it would be a little bit better. Now, we had discussed backstage that they got a good piece, one of the Cubs' top prospects for Clay Holmes, and I like that. But a lot of the guys that they picked up, and I didn't really read too much about it, but I saw a lot of these players still in like single A ball and at lower levels of major leagues that really haven't proven themselves yet. As a Mets fan, again, we knew they were going to sell, but I think I would have liked a little bit more promising prospects here. And I think they could have maybe got those. Now, it's funny because I saw something online and they asked, what would you grade the Mets trade deadline, and David Stern's performance? Now, as a general manager overall, I give him an F. In this case, I put my 2 cents in and I said C minus. Again, we all knew he was going to trade these guys away and it was the right thing. I just don't think they got enough overall for them.
Were you surprised that the Mets traded Luke Weaver with a year left on his deal?
I knew that they were going to trade him. I just thought he would end up with a team that had a better chance to win. I was very surprised that he ended up on the Pirates.
Yeah,
now, it's good for them because they maybe are a team that's about a year away. And good move for them because maybe not this year, but maybe he could really come in handy next year. But that one surprised me a little bit. I thought he'd end up at a team like, the Yankees, Braves, Brewers, even one of those types of teams.
Yeah, especially because Weaver pitched in the Bronx.
Yeah, he knows New York. Now, Jamie, when we did our show last week, I forget the reason that he said that the Yankees would not pursue him. But I think just because of need and because of other needs that they needed more on the team. So he was thinking that Weaver wasn't going to end up back there, even though it was a potentially logical move. But yeah, that's it. Now, what the Rays they didn't trade anybody to the Rays, but what do you think of their deadline situation?
Oh wait, you mentioned Freddie Peralta. I think he's pitching the 9 in Denver.
There we go. Okay. So that's the other big name that I forgot here. But yeah, I think not a bad move. Now, Peralta hasn't done well with the Mets, but I think he could be a valuable member of the Rays. And they had another big pickup too, didn't they?
Yeah, Liam Hicks, and he had a grand slam tonight.
Wow. So they're in this to win it. And see, they're doing the things that I thought the Brewers should have done.
Yeah, I mean, and Tampa's offense is top heavy with Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, and Junior Caminero. Liam Hicks. I was surprised the Marlins even considered trading Liam Hicks. I mean, Miami's got a good young waiting in the wings, but Liam Hicks has got many more years of control. He's got a great OPS this year. Power hitting catcher, not easy to find. Fine. And Hicks goes right in Tampa's lineup and hits a grand slam. Now, he is playing in Denver, but still, grand slam, so what?
Right? No, that surprised me a lot. And the Marlins are right in the wild card hunt. It's not like they're waving the white flag.
And they ended up trading Liam Hicks. I'm not sure why, but interesting how some teams on the edge of playoff contention traded pieces, and some teams like the Pirates, like the Padres, added pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask me the next trade deadline related question.
The next
trade deadline related question.
Well, what team did the best in your opinion?
I mean, it's hard not to say the Dodgers because they got the biggest fish, but not counting the Dodgers or the Rays, I really like what the Guardians did, getting the two Foster Griffin and Nathaniel Lowe from the Nats, and also Joe Adell from the Angels. I think Lowe will do really well against right-hand pitching. Foster Griffin, unbelievable story, coming from Japan, also this year in DC. Now we'll go into the Guardians, whether he's a starter or long man. By the way, Cleveland this year, all this stuff about teams needing like 15 starters. Cleveland's only needed 6 starters this year, and I think that's because they played a doubleheader. Yeah, Cleveland doesn't have home injuries.
One of those guys, I think it was Adell, had a couple RBIs tonight.
And Adell will be great against left-hand pitching. Plus, he's good at home run robberies.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think the Guardians ended up losing to your Mets.
They did. They lost like 6-2 tonight. Again, the Mets were gifted. We were joking when we were talking before we came on here about, now watch, the Mets had the fire sale and they're going to start winning. And I guess 1-0 since then. But I was watching that game earlier, and they had 2 outs. It was 0-0 in the first because Cleveland left the bases loaded. And then the top of the second, Mets had 2 quick outs. And then a ground ball. It should have been the 3rd out. The player makes an error. and then all of a sudden get a couple of guys on base, 3-run homer by Terens, and it was 3-0, and Cleveland never recovered at that point. They made a game out of it, and they got close, but they left other guys on base too, had opportunities, just left a lot of guys on base. But we'll see now if the Mets do start winning and they start going with a little bit of a youth movement here, and we'll see what happens with the rest of the year. But it doesn't look good. And again, I wasn't optimistic even in this game because their biggest bullpen, their three best middle relief pitchers are all gone. So it's like, well, they can't compete really with many bullpens here, thinking they're going to blow leads, but they held on for this one, and Sean Manaea looked good as the starter. So, kudos to the Mets. And I've been against them all year just because they've lacked heart. And now maybe they'll actually start showing some heart. Well, I guess we'll see.
It's funny. Maybe the best thing to happen for the Mets this year is a bad year, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But with the owner, they're going to spend money.
That's right. Now they got to be careful spending money, as was seen this year. They went out and spent it, but they spent it on the wrong guys. So they're going to have to make some correct decisions here. Plus, go ahead and go with some of these prospects. Now they do have a few good ones. I mean, AJ Ewing's been great all year. Carson Benj has been great. So they have some guys and core pieces, and they got a couple of guys named Lindor and Soto that are going to be there. So they do have a foundation. They just got to go after the right guys if they're going to go after free agents. But I'd say focus on the youth movement and build around them, along with the big veterans there.
Plus, playing in New York's not exactly playing in Milwaukee. Just ask Stephen Williams. He's a lot better than what he's shown.
Right. And a lot of these guys are. So is Freddie Peralta. And I mean, other guys. So is Bo Bichette.
He's not pitching in Denver tonight. He gave up a 3-run home run to Mickey Moniak.
Oh, my goodness. So not the best start for him. But
by the way, speaking of Mickey Moniak, how about former #1 draft picks getting moved? Well, Casey Mize to the Padres, but Adley Rutschman from the Orioles to the Red Sox. A rare inner AL East move.
It is rare, but I think you got teams going in different directions. The Orioles going in one direction, the Red Sox going in another direction. The criticism, though, is that the Red Sox gave up a little bit too much for Rutschman. I know he was a player that they needed, but a lot of people say they gave up too much for him. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. I mean, the Red Sox gave away 3 top 5 prospects for a year plus of Adley Rutschman. Now, Rutschman's not been the same really since 2024.
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to think. What is Adley Rutschman's season this year? He's
subpar.
I mean, he's 114 OPS plus, but I mean, last year was terrible. I mean, Rutschman's been on the IL this year 3 times. I think he's on with like a wrist issue, but Rutschman's better this year. But it's funny. The Orioles' core pieces have all floundered this year. I mean, Gunnar Henderson's OPS has dropped. Colin Cowser, Jackson Holliday is not really progressed, but I don't think he's been healthy. I think one of the other Oriole pieces is in AAA this year. What is it, Kjerstad?
Yeah, is he like a prospect?
He was.
Okay.
I think, Hairston Kjerstad, I think is in I think he's in AAA. Yeah, he's in AAA Norfolk.
Okay.
Not good. Oops.
When was the year that the Orioles won the division? Was that 23 or 24?
I think it was 23.
I think so too. Yeah, because I think the Yankees won the division in 24 and the Blue Jays last year.
Yep.
Okay.
That was the year the Rangers beat. I think the Rangers beat the Orioles in that ALDS. Yeah.
They like swept them, didn't
Yeah, in 3 games.
mm-hmm.
And we had an all Texas American League Championship Series.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think the Red Sox may have given away too much, but I think what Craig Breslo's thinking is, you know what, prospects are prospects. And the Red Sox didn't just trade those 3 guys, but trade Marcelo Meyer for Eric Miller, the giant lefty reliever. I mean, former top 5 draft pick, and now he's going for a middle reliever.
Right. And again, I could see the Red Sox going all in, but I think it's a little premature because I think they were a year or 2 away. I don't think this is the year they had to dive in. Of course, a lot of people say the American League is wide open, which it is. So I guess if you're a playoff team, you got a chance to get there.
Amen. And plus the Warriors, plus the Red Sox have been uber hot, won 15 in a row. Great July, just swept the Dodgers in LA, and now beating the White Sox 13-2. By the way, Cubs lead 2-1. Nico Horner got an infield single. Bregman scored. So Dodgers, excuse me, Cubs ahead 2-1 in Wrigleyville. Boy, Dodgers have lost 4 in a row, and now Skubal's losing.
First time all year, because I was watching a little bit of that game. Again, I had it on the MLB Extra Innings, so I was watching several games at once. But it's Dodgers nothing to be worried about. Of course, we know they're going to be there in the end. Now, on my show with Jamie here, we talk about expected wins. I'm a big believer in the expected stats. And I tell you what, I said this, I think, right before the All-Star break. And I said, and nothing against you here, Dylan, you might not like this part, but I said, if I was a Yankees fan, the Rays would not be the team I'd be worrying about. I would be worried about the Red Sox just because their expected statistics and expected record was far better than what it actually was. And then shortly after that, they go on a big winning streak. Now, the Rays haven't held up their end of the bargain because their expected wins was a lot less than their actual record. So I said, watch it, everybody. This team's going to fall, and they're going to kind of fade and regress while you're going to have the Yankees and Red Sox going at it. Well, I think the Rays are proving that they're not going to fade, and they're going to be here right till the end, and they're not going anywhere. But you're going to have a 3-team race going right to the end here. It's going to be very interesting.
And I think the biggest question with the Yankees is health, because if the Yankees ever got healthy, I mean, potentially have a starting rotation of Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Cam Schlitter, and Coles Rodon, and a lineup with all kinds of thump.
That's why I still think, and again, not that you're going to want to hear this, but I still think the road to the World Series in the American League goes through New York. I really think the Yankees have the best chance to get there based on that pitching, based on that talent. Of course, again, in the playoffs, anything can happen, and it is wide open, as we said. But I could definitely see the Yankees getting there, and that's who I would think would be the team. Now, I won't admit that in the beginning of the season, I picked a different American League representative, but they just lost their best pitcher.
Did you and I pick the same team?
I didn't know you did, but it appears that we have. You picked the Tigers?
Unfortunately.
Yes. And they're another team that the expected record was better than it was, and they did get hot for a little bit, but it doesn't look good for them now with losing two of their, pitching staff, their starting pitchers. But I don't know. Um, I think it definitely goes through New York, but any of those teams, Tampa, New York, Boston, Houston, even. I'm still waiting for Seattle to get hot. I thought
I can't
Texas would
figure
win
out.
that division in the beginning of the season, and it looks like they might.
I can't figure out the Mariners. Like Seattle's got way too good at pitching, but yet some of those guys have regressed. I mean, Cal Raleigh was not going to hit 60 home runs again.
No, he pulled a Brady Anderson, but yeah, we knew that too, and he came back down to reality, and just some of those other guys haven't been hitting as expected. And I still think, I mean, there's still month and a half to go in the season, or 2 months basically left in the season. I wouldn't be surprised if they get if they get hot and end up taking that division.
Plus, Seattle got Taylor Ward, but we know right-handed hitters love hitting a T-Mobile ball.
Right.
Did the Yankees fix their weaknesses at catcher, corner infield, and in the bullpen?
Not at catcher. That was the complaint that I saw from some Yankees fans. I mean, I think overall they were pretty happy with what they ended up with. But that was the one complaint I heard most is middle relief and catching.
Yeah, it's actually a little surprising in many ways. The Yankees didn't add a piece, whether it be another bullpen on third base or catcher. Now, I mean, could they've got Liam Hicks? Maybe not. I mean, Brian Jeffers, but the Twins didn't trade anyone, or the Reds trading Stevenson.
Right.
Stevenson. By the way, it is now 14-2 Red Sox. I think a Brave hit a home run.
Okay.
I think you might be pitching the ninth at Fenway.
Right. Right. Hey, get me in there. I'll take a trip to Fenway.
Yeah. Yeah. So Red Sox going to win that game. Continue a crazy run of form, a la 1988. Well, I think the Red Sox won 25 at home, 25 in a row at home. Some absurd streak that will
back then.
Yeah.
Because I know this season they've been struggling at Fenway all season.
Until recently.
Well, now they don't lose anywhere recently, but yeah, they've got their act together at Fenway now too. But that was one of the biggest complaints, besides the fact that they were losing games. They couldn't win at home. But things seem to be changing right now.
One other team that I don't think added near enough starting pitching, or at least top level starting pitching, Atlanta. Who's going to be the number 2 starter for the Atlanta Braves in October?
It's a good question. I'm not exactly sure who they have. I'd have to see their roster, but yeah, I was a little surprised too. I thought they'd make a little bit of a bigger splash, and some teams stepped up. The team we haven't mentioned, well, actually, you might have mentioned in the beginning, is the Cubs. Now, the Cubs have had some issues, and before the trade deadline a few weeks ago, they picked up David Peterson from the Mets. And I was like, I don't know, Cubs. I think that might do you more harm than good. But then, they went out and made the other moves. And, I think they definitely strengthened their biggest weakness, and mainly because of injury. So they all of a sudden have a lot of depth at pitching now, and might make a difference there. But the Braves surprised me a little bit. I thought that they would make a splash and maybe pick up somebody big, but again, maybe they know what they're doing, and it's very possible that they know more than you and I.
I mean, clearly to me, the Braves are banking on Schwellenbach and some of these guys coming back from injury. I think Spencer Strider is damaged goods for all we know, but
Yeah.
I just think that I just think Braves are hoping and praying because maybe the Braves strategy is simple. Chris Sale game one, 4 rainouts. Chris Sale game two, 4 rainouts. Chris Sale game three.
It could be, but I mean they're getting some guys back. I think Acuna just got back with them recently, so that's
Yes.
going to make a difference in their offensive lineup there. They're a team that I wouldn't mess with though. They seem to be just kind of hiding in the grass and just kind of waiting to spring up at the right moment. So again, yeah, I'm surprised, and maybe you can criticize them a little bit that they didn't do more, but again, something tells me they know what they're doing and they've proven themselves in the past.
Concur, especially with the veteran leaders, not just Acuna but Olsen. I mean, if Olsen Riley could ever start hitting again, that would help.
Right. Yeah, Olsen's been solid. Um, and they got some other guys in there that can play. Albies is always there. So they know how to win too. So again, I wouldn't look past them.
Yeah, yeah. Although seemingly nobody wants to win some of these divisions. Like nobody wants to win the AL Central. Nobody wants to win the AL West this year. And yet one of those teams will have a bye in the first round.
Which is crazy. And again, I still think one of those teams is going to take off. I mean, the Astros are on the hot streak now. They they just won a bunch of games in a row, I think. But I still don't have a lot of faith in them. I really see either Texas or Seattle springing forward and making the move. And I think it's more likely to be Seattle than anybody else. In the Central, believe it or not, I don't think, I mean, take away tonight's game, but I don't think the White Sox are going away. And you got Cleveland there, who I think is going to be right there till the end. And maybe they'll pull what they pulled last year, just all of a sudden the last few games of the season take it away.
Yeah, and also if Jose Ramirez can turn into Jose Ramirez coming off that broken hammy bone, I mean, Cleveland's got that veteran experience, which matters dog days of August and September.
Plus, like we mentioned, they just went out and got these guys here to bolster the team. And pitching is pretty solid too. So, and I think Ramirez is coming back soon, right? I
Well,
saw
Ramirez
him.
is back, but maybe Ramirez will get Jose will get in the groove soon.
True. So they're a team to watch, but the team that was the worst team in baseball history just 2 years ago has a very good chance to take that division.
Yeah, it's crazy. Usually we talk football turnarounds, but the White Sox turnaround has been like Jane Daniels or Caleb Williams 2.0.
Right? Or, kind of like St. Louis Rams. Now I'm not saying the White Sox are going to win a World Series like the Rams won the Super Bowl with some supermarket employee as a quarterback. But they're going to be there.
By the way, before we move on to football, I wanted to test your trivia, Joe. I'm thinking,
all right.
What could I was originally going to have this as a group project, thinking we could go back and forth. Joe, name me MLB win leaders, individual win leaders of the 1980s.
Okay. How many?
As many as you can name me.
All right. Well, let's. Steve Carlton comes to mind.
Let me see. I don't think Holden pitched enough in the 80s. No.
In the 80s, okay. Nolan Ryan?
Nolan Ryan, 122.
Okay.
And this is on StatMuse, by the way. So.
Okay. Now 80s, Roger Clemens.
Nope.
Oh. Who else we got in the 80s here? God, I'm blanking.
The leader is at 162 games.
All right, so we're talking 80s. A lot of guys are coming to my mind, but they're more like 90s, like Randy Johnson and people like that. 140 something. I don't think Dwight Gooden's on that list.
No.
Okay. Trying to think. Ron Darling? No.
No.
Trying to get some of those Mets guys there. 1980s pitchers. Trying to think maybe who. Not Andujar.
Joaquin Andujar, no.
How about Frank Viola?
Sweet Music, ninth with 117 wins.
Jack Morris?
Number one, 162.
All right.
I was waiting for Jack Morris. I'm like, what took a while?
Yeah. All right, I'm trying to see. Maybe
number two flirted with no hitters on multiple occasions with his
Dave Steve?
Yes, Dave Steve.
Wow.
Second with 140. He was 1 out away from perfect game, and then I think in 90 ended up throwing a no hitter against, I think it was Cleveland.
Okay. Thinking there's got to be some Yankees and Dodgers in there.
Yeah.
But I can't think of who they might be. Not somebody like Royce.
Jerry Royce was at 105.
Okay. Got Morris. Not somebody like Vukovic.
Pete Vukovic, no.
Okay. And Clemens was not on that list, you said.
No.
Viola. Oh, how about Hershiser?
No.
I got to think. Okay, how about some A's? Although they were only good late in the 80s.
There were all some Cy Young winners on this list.
On this that I should know. Carlton. All right. I'm pretty much out of options, and as soon as I hear some of these, I'm going to be.
I'll tell you one. If this guy would have pitched Game 7 in a particular year, the World Series might have been a far different result.
You're not talking about Mike Scott, are you?
Yep, Mike Scott.
See,
it's on the list.
I did not think he would be on the list simply because he just had a short period. I would have said like Bob Knepper, or somebody like.
Bob Knepper's somewhere on the list too.
Is he?
Jack Morris, Dave Steve, Bob Welch, Charlie Huff, Fernando Valenzuela. Top 5, then Burt Bly 11, Nolan Ryan, Jim Clancy, Frank Viola, and Red Sutcliffe number 10.
Okay. So I should have gotten Valenzuela, and I probably should have gotten Blyleven, and then you mentioned another one in there, a couple before him. Yeah, I should have got at least Blyleven and Valenzuela. I can't believe I forgot him.
especially with what he did early in the 80s.
Right. All right. Well, that's an excellent question.
Okay, on the football now. Training camp's on the way. For once, not many quarterback battles. I mean, there might be one in Cleveland, but I mean, between Deshaun and Shador, I think, uh, I think that might be more of a snooze fest. Raiders seemingly want to play Kirk Cousins, even though I think Mendoza's ready to rumble. What are some training camp storylines from Buffalo?
Well, it's a good question. I mean, I I'm asleep to football still. This is the time of year where I really start looking into things as training camp starts, um, because usually by August it's like, okay, I've had enough of baseball and I can start getting into football now. But the problem is, I haven't been watching baseball because there's been another sport going on most of the summer, and that just a tournament that just ended a couple of weeks ago. But so now it's like I feel like I'm just discovering baseball. It's like, oh, cool, I can watch baseball now. But with the Bills, and again, I'll know more as things go on. But just how are guys going to fit in? Now, the biggest surprise for me is some of the people that haven't been signed yet. Somebody like Matt Milano, or what are they going to do with like Poyer or people like that? I think they just re-signed Damar Hamlin for another year. So why are guys like him getting a chance, but maybe not some of the other ones? So I'm kind of surprised that people like Milano and that haven't been signed yet. Bosa is another one. I mean, I don't see the Bills picking him up again, but that's what surprises me a little bit, is the fact that some of these guys still haven't found homes yet.
Yeah, I think part of the issue, not just with Bolsa, but some of these guys, maybe Steph Diggs doesn't want to go through training camp, but who knows? Maybe just waiting for an injury. Also, you know, the Bills are in transition. They're going to looks like they're going to a 3-4 with Jim Leonard as the defensive coordinator. Correct?
Yes, that's what I've heard. So
And
we'll
for the first time in Josh Allen's career, he's not going to have Sean McDermott as his head coach. He's going to have an offensive-minded head coach now, his former OC, Joe Brady. I mean,
right. And I think, if anything, that's going to be a help for him. I mean, he knows Brady. He works well with Brady. I like that aspect of it. I question Brady's ability to lead an entire team. And so we'll see how that comes out. We'll be pleasantly surprised, or, unpleasantly disappointed. Now, again, I said this back when it happened and throughout. I was not disappointed that they got rid of McDermott. I mean, he did great things for the organization. And again, there's so much positive there. And I would not have been disappointed if they kept him again. But I just think, after going through the same ending to seasons throughout, that it was time for a change. The change, however, I thought would be a change. And, you're kind of going with a lot of the same, that confused me, is you want to move on and try something different, but yet you're not completely doing that, hiring Brady as coach. So obviously I'm very curious to see, and most Bills fans, consider Brady very highly as far as an offensive coordinator. But now I guess we're going to find out how he does as a coach.
Especially because Joe Brady's a rookie head coach. One thing that the Bills had gone after John Harbaugh, Kevin Stefanski, and Mike McCarthy, because those guys have been head coaches.
Yeah, I didn't want McCarthy here. And I don't think, Harbaugh was going to come here, although you have an attraction here, and his name is Josh Allen. So, there was a time where no coach would ever dream of coming to Buffalo, and not too long ago. And now, especially because of Josh Allen, it's a little bit more of an attractive destination. And I think somebody like Stefanski would have been a good fit here because he's proven himself. I mean, I think he overachieved in Cleveland. I mean, I think that team had no business accomplishing some of the things that they did. So I thought he did an excellent.
The Browns won a playoff game.
Right. When really, again, it's like you feel like they had no business even being in the playoffs. So that is definitely a credit to him, and I think he would have been a good fit here.
And now he's in Atlanta, which is another separate mess between Tua and Michael Penix. I mean, I have no idea what Atlanta's quarterback situation is.
No, and I guess we're going to find out soon, but it's not a bad problem to have, right?
I mean, Tua and Michael Penix, between them, have about 79 leg injuries and 27 concussions.
Yes, hopefully at least one of them could stay on the field.
That would help. At least Bijan.
At least what? I'm sorry.
At least Bijan this year.
That's right.
Although I hear the Falcons just lost Jalen Walker with a torn ACL.
ACL, yeah.
Yeah,
that's tough.
That means Atlanta's defense will be whoop, whoop, whoop. Although the Bills lost to the Falcons last year on Monday Night Football.
Which I knew they would.
How'd that happen?
I think it was just timing. I don't remember what the record was, but Jamie and I, when we start our football show, we go game by game and making predictions. And I don't know if I had the Bills undefeated up until that point or, close to it. But I said, you know what? That's a spot where so many teams come out flat. So many good teams come out flat. The home team is all pumped up because they're in prime time and they got the national audience. And again, the Falcons were a decent team. It's not like they were, a lower tier NFL team.
I think Atlanta was coming off a bye. You were coming off a rather poor showing against New England.
Right. So that's right. That because Atlanta, I think, was coming off a bye. And with that primetime home situation, even in the beginning of the year, I said, this is kind of a place where I see the Bills losing. Now, I kind of changed my tune a little bit when they lost to New England. I was like, well, maybe they're going to come out a little stronger, but that didn't happen.
Let me think. Week 6, yeah, and the Bills were also going to go on a bye the following week,
which was it was a perfect storm. Because I know teams typically don't play well before the bye week, and they're stronger coming out of the bye week.
Just ask my team. We got a you-know-what's kicked by the Rams in London.
A place where your team really does well. Now, curious, what are you thinking about the Jaguars so far? And anything going on in training camp, and where do you think they end up this season?
I'm not jinxing my team, but knock on wood. Looks like everybody's healthy right now. Chris Rodriguez back on the field. Travis Hunter, Parker Washington, BT. I don't know what's going to happen with Travis Hunter. That's the biggest question mark to me. Whether he could play both ways. Obviously, Trevor was great the last 6-7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the questions are more running back and then probably defensively with Travis Hunter.
Okay.
And then of course, I mean, been a few injuries. Ricky Pierce off for the year. What's going on with the San Francisco 49er wide receivers always getting hurt?
They've had that unlucky. I don't want to, what do you want to call it? But yeah, it seems like luck hasn't been on their side the last couple of seasons.
And maybe, I don't know, maybe there's something with the stadium location, but Ricky Pearsall's hurt.
Mhm.
You know, Debo's back, so I mean, San
I
Francisco's not exactly going to have the youngest offense in NFL history.
No, but they'll be solid, I think, and I think getting Debo back is a big move. Um, yeah, I don't count them out. I mean, they got a tough division, obviously, with Seattle and the Rams there, and I think Arizona is going to be improved as well. So, yeah, it's not going to be easy for the 49ers. I think they're going to have a much more difficult schedule this year too. Didn't they have like the easiest schedule in the league last year?
Yeah, San Francisco and New England.
And New England, I know, did too. So the heat's going to be turned up on them a little bit, but and again, bad injuries certainly aren't going to help them.
I think this year Detroit might have the easiest schedule in the league.
And that could be dangerous because they're still good.
Yeah, and I hear they have Jameer Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Sam Laporte, and Jameson Williams. Oh yeah, Jared Goff's not bad either.
Yeah, now he's not bad either. And again, it's kind of like I was talking about with the Braves before in baseball, except the Braves are winning their division right now. But yeah, don't sleep on this Lions team because nobody's talking about them. Even in their division, everybody's talking about Jordan Love and the Packers, or the Bears ended up winning it last year, I think, right? So nobody's talking about the Lions. And I think that might be a mistake to overlook them because their defense isn't so bad either. I think Hutchinson's going to have another year. He had this past season and played well coming back from the injury. So I think on both ends of the ball, they're going to be pretty solid. And again, with an easy schedule, they're a team to look out for, in my opinion.
The most fascinating team going into this season, two most fascinating teams. We talked about one being the Bills. The other one's the Baltimore Ravens. Vegas has got the Ravens win the most games of any team in the NFL this year. Fairly solid schedule. But for the first time in Lamar Jackson's career, with the Birds, John Harbaugh not there. They've got a rookie head coach and rookie play call. So how will Jesse Minter and Declan Doyle fare this year with the Ravens? Because with how much Lamar's cap it's going to be, the expectation of a franchise will be on Lamar this year. Supposedly, he said he looks healthy, he looks ready to rumble.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that people are giving him that much credit. I mean, I thought that the Raven, again, I'm going to really look in depth at my football info before I make some predictions here, but, later on in a few weeks. I probably would have had the Ravens winning that division, and I probably still will pick them that way. I don't know if I would have them being the top team in the NFL as far as wins are concerned. Could end up that way. But you got some coaches that got a lot to prove, as you just said, and Lamar Jackson has a lot to prove still yet too. So again, can the Ravens be there? Last year, I picked them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm going to go that far this year, but I certainly think they're capable of doing that. But I think there's a lot of question marks still to talk about as well, and we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, and also, Not just that, but they've lost Tyler Lindenbaum, Isaiah Likely. I mean, they gave um, Zay Flowers a big contract today. I mean, the Raven. I mean, we know the Ravens preach themselves on defense and physical football, and the AFC North with Pittsburgh and Cincinnati not going to be easy. Even
Mhm.
The Cleveland Browns beat the Packers last year.
Yeah, they snuck up on teams too. So that whole division is tough. And
Thank goodness my team plays the Browns week 1 and not week 15 where it's going to be negative 28 degrees by the
so
lake.
the game's in Cleveland.
No, Duval. And we don't have to face Miles Garrett. Thank you.
And yeah,
By the way, you probably remember the game in Cleveland. I don't know what year it was. Bills Browns. It was so cold, so windy there. Many years ago.
was that the game that ended up like 6-3? I probably didn't watch the game, but I think I do remember that because I remember saying, "Oh, thank God I did not."
2009.
It was 2009. Okay, and I
Holy
remember
crap!
I was like, "I'm glad I did not."
Derek Anderson was 2 of 17.
Yes, I don't know how the Browns were that year, but I know the Bills weren't the best team in
And
football
then
for sure.
2007, the Browns won 8-0.
Yeah,
The Browns got 2 field goals and a safety.
not exactly the glory days of the Buffalo Bills at that point.
Yeah, a little bit different than today. Derek Anderson and Trent Edwards.
Yeah, I was wondering who the quarterback was. Yeah, for the Bills, Trent Edwards. That sounds about right.
Where did Trent Edwards go to school? Like some Pac-12 school?
I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not.
I think it was either Cal or Stanford. Yeah.
Okay.
Stanford. Knew that. And then Derek Anderson with the Browns. I think it was 2007. That was the year the Browns drafted Brady Quinn.
Before the season or after the season?
At the draft, they traded up to get Brady Quinn.
Maybe he got hurt or something.
I don't know. But Browns and quarterbacks. Browns still looking for a quarterback.
Right. Well, they made a big mistake at quarterback a few years ago.
Yeah, $200 million mistake. Yeah,
They had the right guy, and they gave up on him.
Yeah, and Baker Mayfield. Well, now Baker Mayfield's unhappy in Tampa, but he wants the money. He wants the money.
Yeah.
And the Bucks aren't paying the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Baker with a chip on her shoulder is going to be crazy. I mean, the NFC South, for all we know, is going to be nuts this year.
It's going to be wide open.
I mean, we haven't even seen the Hall of Fame game this week. I mean, there's a lot to be determined.
Yeah, that's Thursday night, correct?
Yeah, Panthers Cardinals.
Okay.
I'm like, is everybody in canon?
Is everybody what?
I'm like, is everybody in canon for the Hall of Fame game or like the Hall of Fame inductions? I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, I just can't believe it's here.
Yeah. And in 5 weeks from tomorrow, games start counting for real. With Patriots
5 weeks?
Seahawks. Oh, by the way, Coca, the president, said thoughts on Bo Nix this year.
Well, I think he continues to progress, to be honest with you. I don't see him taking steps back. I mean, obviously, they're going to have a little bit of a tougher schedule, I think, as well. But I think he continues to progress forward. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I've got a bold prediction involving the Denver Broncos this year. I'm not going to reveal it just yet,
Okay.
but one of us is going bold with the Broncos this year. How
Okay.
bold? You're just going to have to wait and see.
You've been very good on a lot of your bold predictions, so I'm curious to hear this one in a little bit.
I'll happily tell you, but it'll be in about 5 weeks.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Joe. Thanks for hopping on. I don't know how we got over now, but we did.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff to talk about, and again, I enjoy talking about it with you.